Good evening, Patriots. My name is Robert Patrick Lewis, and I'm coming to you once again as one of the co-founding members of First Amendment Praetorian. We're a group of military, law enforcement, both local and federal, and intelligence industry veterans who have come together to do what we can to join our own forces to ensure that patriotic and religious events can go on safely and don't have to worry about Marxists or just angry groups of entitled children trying to break up what they're doing or try to silence dissenting opinions and views because they don't agree with it. If you've seen my videos before, obviously you know what this is about. If you have not, and there's a good chance because this is the first time I'm actually connecting the video to all the different live stream platforms. If you've never seen these videos before, you can go back to my YouTube page at Robert Patrick Lewis and see some of the other videos, but I'll try to catch you up so this isn't anything new to anybody else. First Amendment Praetorian started off just a few weeks ago. We had our first event in Washington, D.C. at the Walkaway Campaign's Unsilent Majority March on Washington. It was a multi-day event in D.C. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Had a ton of speakers, had a couple of different events, a gala on Friday night, a march on Saturday morning, and then another rally on Saturday. It went off very well. We had credible intelligence. We have a pretty large and very experienced intelligence team that works off-site, and they collect intelligence and look for credible threats about any events that we're protecting for weeks before the event even starts. We got credible intelligence before the last one that 3 groups were traveling from Portland and Seattle to try to disrupt the event in DC. That did in fact happen. Some of the people ended up in jail. The other ones ended up on our cameras. They're cataloged in our databases just so that we know troublemakers for the future events. That will become very pertinent as you'll see in this video. Since that first event, we now, as of yesterday, completed our second successful operation. We did another walkaway campaign event in Phoenix. It was great. It was a little bit smaller, but it had some amazing speakers, David Harris Jr., Shamika. It really was a good one. And of course, Brandon Strock, who I'm a huge fan of. So it was good to see. I love what that guy's doing. We had a smaller team. It was a one-day event, so it was a little bit easier logistically, but it went off great. Our team is already back to where they came from, and now we're working on our next mission. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about to you today. After that first operation in Washington, D.C., we thought we would have a lot of time to rest and kind of get ready for the next one, and we immediately started having people contact us, asking us if we could cover different events for them. So we actually have an event this weekend. We again are going back to Washington, D.C. For October 25th. We will be at the Let Us Worship protest by Sean Fuchs in Washington, D.C. It's wonderful. It's one of the things that I personally believe in. I believe that this nation was founded on religious freedom, and I think that's one of the most important things, no matter who you pray to, that we all have the right to do it. And we've seen that there are a lot of people in this country that are trying to get rid of that. They want, certain people to be allowed to pray, but not others. And that's not the purpose. The United States of America is built around religious freedom for everybody. But there isn't one group that should be excluded because they make up the majority of this country. That actually seems pretty ridiculous to me. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think that makes any sense that the largest religious group in the United States should be not allowed to profess their own religion. A lot of things about our current times don't make any sense to me. Regardless of whether they make sense to me or not, I'm going to use whatever resources we have to make sure that people can express whatever religious views they want. Just so happens that I am Christian, so this is a Christian event, and it's one that I support greatly. It's supposed to be a very large event. I'm looking forward to it. All of our team is looking forward to it. We have another pretty large detachment that's going to be going out to this event in DC. We already have our intelligence people all over the place, combing the interwebs, looking for any credible threats, looking in all the different places that we look and doing all the things that we do. DC is an interesting one. It's a little bit more expensive than a lot of the places that we typically go. It's very crowded, and you have a lot of different groups, very good ones, some other ones that, you know, their whole basis is to try and rain on people's parade and stop people they don't agree with from being able to express their First Amendment rights. So this is something that we're going to be there to ensure that we protect. That's called the Let Us Worship protest. That's going to be in DC, and they're expecting a very, very large crowd, tens of thousands of people. And so this is one that I'm really excited about because I love being able to see people, again, whether I agree with your religion or not, I believe that we all have that God-given right to express our religion along with everything else that comes within our freedom of speech. Just like with the first one. So for the first event, I keep a very good accounting. I guess that's the job that I get to do because I'm an MBA. I get to do all the numbers and stuff, which is not my favorite part, but I'm good at it. So we posted financial transparency after the first event to our first_Praetorian Twitter account. Website's still getting worked on. We're building out a lot of different things. But that's one of the things we want to be very straightforward with people about is how much we're spending. So we want you to know every dollar that you donate to our group, what is it going towards? The first stop in DC was very expensive, not only because it was in DC, had a lot of travel, had a very large team there, but also because we bought a lot of this gear that we now own and we're using. So the second event in Phoenix wasn't nearly as expensive as the one in DC was, but still cost a couple $1,000s to get everybody flights and hotels and food and everything else. I'm still paying out all the different things that that one cost. For the things that we rented, for the travel, for some of the food, for things like that. So as soon as that's finished and all the numbers are done and all the payments are made, accounts payable and receivable, all that's out, I'll post another financial transparency so that everyone who donated, and thank you to every one of you who did, again, just like the Washington event, knows exactly where every dollar that you donated to us went. So we have DC again. This is going to be, again, a large one. Thankfully, again, we own all of our gear so that this one shouldn't be as expensive, but it'll be mainly hotels, food, travel, lodging, things like that. So we, again, are asking anybody out there who believes in our mission, who wants to support something like this, if you could, please, or if you have the ability, or if you have the desire to support what we're doing, you can go to 1apraetorian.com. Again, that's the number one, A as in the letter A, Praetorian as in the Praetorian Guard.com, and we have the different links. We have a Patreon, a classy crowdfunding campaign, and we also have a PayPal link now that you can use to donate, whichever one is your preferred. We sign up for a Subscribe Star, but it takes a while. For some reason, that one is still under review, but we'll put it up, put the links up as soon as we get it. Wherever you're seeing this, you should have the links below in the information. So if you have not seen our videos yet, you have not donated yet, but you feel like you would like to, that you can support this kind of mission of military, law enforcement, and intelligence agency veterans being out there protecting Americans who want to express their First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. If you believe in that mission, please do go there and support what we're doing. We have DC coming up this weekend. We are also being asked to do 2 different events the following weekend. So we're being asked to do another walkaway campaign event in Atlanta on November 1st, which is a pretty big one. We were also just contacted by a group in Denver, Colorado, asking if we can support one of their events on November 1st as well. I think we've all seen some of the stuff coming out of Denver lately. It's a shame. I have a station in Colorado Springs in the Army. I have a lot of my friends from 10th Special Forces Group that are out there. I love Colorado. It's beautiful. It truly is God's country. But we know that we've seen a lot of subversive, angry groups out there that seem to have made it their mission to try to silence dissenting views. It's funny, they call themselves anti-fascist, but they are being extremely fascist in trying to ensure that people who they don't agree with can't voice their opinion, can't use their constitutionally enshrined and God-given rights to free speech. So we're looking to see if we can get enough teammates out there with the Atlanta one and the Denver one. That'll be splitting up our team, but thankfully our team is still growing every day. We just added 10 new members to our team this week. So we have an ever-growing group. We have a very, very large group of people, thankfully men and women, that have stepped up, that believe in this mission, that want to do what they can to secure the Republic, to ensure that Americans are allowed to be Americans and keep our right to free speech and be able to express whatever they feel, whether it be politics or religion or just what they had for dinner. People, I believe that is one of the most important things. It's one of the things that truly separates us from the rest of the world. There's a reason the First Amendment is the First Amendment, because that right there is one of the things that defines a free society, is the right to express yourself, the right to offer your opinions, the right to openly converse, the rights to do all these different things. So, like I said, we've got 2 missions under the belt now, 3 more on deck, some very big ones, some very small ones. If this is the first time you're hearing this, you can go to my YouTube page, again, Robert Patrick Lewis, and there are several other videos. You can go to our website, oneapraetorian.com. If this is something that you feel like you want to support this mission, you can either do a recurring donation under Patreon. You can do a one-time or recurring donation under Classy, and we also have PayPal that you can sign up for. So again, thank you to every one of you who has donated already. It's you that help us do these missions. We have people flying from all across the country, hotel rooms, travel, food, lodging, gear, all these different things, insurance, lawyers, all this stuff costs money. And without the goodness of other Americans who believe in and support our mission, we couldn't be doing this. We are going to keep doing this until we aren't needed anymore. It's unfortunate. It's something that I personally wish we didn't have to be doing this. I had this idea in my mind for several months before we finally pulled the trigger, because I think like everybody else, I kept thinking, well, the FBI's got it, DHS has got it, police have got it. I have friends across the military at all levels and different MOSs and different jobs, and friends in law enforcement across all levels and all kinds of different intelligence and things like that. And I kept hearing that people were on it, but then, you see the news and you see how, there's people at the DHS that still won't say Antifa exists, or that are blocking any kind of investigation into them, and all these different things going on. And we just got sick of waiting for somebody else to stand up and protect Americans. And so we took our oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And we take that oath seriously. We don't think it ever expires. And if nobody else is going to step up and protect Americans, we will. And so we got sick of waiting. We decided to step up. Again, when we're not needed anymore, we're not going to be there anymore. But unfortunately, in our current political climate, we are very much needed. So we're going to continue. We're going to help everybody that we can. One of the big reasons that we're crowdfunded, there are a lot of big groups out there that don't need us. They don't need security. They can hire their own security and intelligence services. But there are a lot of great grassroots organizations out there in the country that can't afford it. They just don't have the money. They have all these different things that they have to spend money on. So they don't have the money to spend on security at their events or intelligence services to see if they have any credible threats, or, do their OSINT or do their background or their vetting or things like that. That's what we're here for. That's why we're crowdfunded. It's for us to help any of these smaller groups that still need help. They need protection, they need security, they need intelligence, but they just can't afford it on their own. So that's one of the things that you're doing, the American people, everybody that stands up and donates and helps us. That's one of the things you're doing, is helping all these different grassroots organizations, every single one that we can help. I did an interview with Conscious Abe, or Uncensored Abe, on his YouTube channel last week. He is one of our team members as well. And I let something be known there that maybe most of you haven't heard yet. We're also splitting off another group. When we saw the experience and skill sets of the men and women coming in, we realized that we had some untapped potential. So we're actually splitting off another group. We will continue to do events, but we're going to have another group that begins to do other types of things. For instance, if there is another high-profile person, say a person that gets thrown into the limelight, like the McCloskeys, or Kyle Rittenhouse, or other people that, they're doing the right thing, and that makes the left or the Marxists very upset, and they start getting credible death threats. We hope to get to the point where we can start deploying teams out there to help them. People that need security but can't afford their own security teams. We have other groups that are going to start working to help law enforcement, to start working with federal law enforcement. We currently, have databases, and we put everything together that we can for people at our events, if they do anything illegal, so we can hand that off to federal law enforcement. We're going to begin doing stuff that's a little bit more offensive. We're putting together groups to start helping dismantle child sex trafficking networks and pedophile rings, and sleeper cells that are in the United States. We're going to start branching out and doing a lot of different things. The events are our core. The events are why we started. We're going to keep doing that. But for this other group, our main mission is to do anything that serves the betterment of humanity and, of course, the Republic. And we believe that all of those things that I mentioned are very much needed to help clean up the Republic. And again, there's a lot of great federal law enforcement agencies out there that are doing it. But with what we've seen, with all the pedophile networks and sex trafficking networks that have been taken down, we know there's a big need for that. Those like me who have stayed very tied in to what's been going on in this country for the last decade know that there were a lot of groups that Obama called off federal law enforcement from investigating, a lot of things they did. And so a lot of them still have people here, and they are a threat to the Republic. So we want to help federal law enforcement clean that up. We'll be doing it the right way. I don't want to get into too many details, but we're not vigilantes. We are, again, we come from military, law enforcement, and intel agencies. So we're doing it the right way. We're not a group of vigilantes. We're not a militia. We're concerned Americans that want to make sure that the Republic is here for us to hand off to our children. And there are definitely groups here in our own country that are protected by people very, very high up who don't want that to happen, who don't want to allow our Republic to stand any longer. And again, just like with the events, we're sick of it. So it's time to do something. Thankfully, we have the experience and we have the personnel to do that. So I haven't done one of these in a while, but if you are somebody that you have that background, you have a military, law enforcement, or intelligence industry background, and you'd like to join our group, you can send an email to 1apraetorian@protonmail.com. Again, that's the number one, A is in the letter A, Praetorian as in the Praetorian Guard, Praetorian @protonmail.com. Send either a copy of your DD-214 if you're military, or a copy of your resume if you're non-military, law enforcement, or intelligence industry, to that email, 1apraetorian@protonmail.com. We have a pretty intense vetting process. So once we get that information in, we'll get some more information from you. We can send you off to our vetting team, and they can start digging into your background. We just want to make sure you are who you say you are, that you have the background that you say you have, and you're not affiliated with any radical groups or anybody else trying to infiltrate our organization. It's pretty intense, but once you get through it, you'll understand why it is, because of the caliber of the people in our team. We protect their information as if it's the most highly classified information out there. And so to bring you into our team, we have to make sure that you're somebody we can trust. It's open to both men and women, but again, if you are military, law enforcement, or from the intelligence industry, and you feel like you want to join our mission, go ahead and send that in to that email address, and we'll put you in the vetting process. If you, again, heard our mission, this is something that you believe in, you want to support, you want to help us do future missions, you want to make sure that we're around to do this for as long as it's needed. Again, you can go to 1apraetorian.com, and the different links to our different crowdfunding campaigns are there. Thank you again to every one of you that has. Again, I wish we didn't have a reason to exist, but we do. And so now that we've started up, now that we're all here, we've grouped together, we're completely decentralized. So we have different planning cells and different groups that are running all these different operations. Now that we are here, we're here to stay, and we're going to keep doing this until we are no longer needed, until events are safe, or until the Republic has been cleaned up again. So I thank you again to every one of you who has supported our group. Congratulations to the team that was in Phoenix. You guys and girls did an awesome job. Looking forward to DC this weekend and being able to worship with a lot of other people that enjoy being able to express their freedom of religion. And then Atlanta and Denver the following weekend. We've got a busy schedule, and I know it's only going to get busier. So again, I cannot say this enough. Thank you to every one of you out there who has supported us already. We couldn't do this without you. We couldn't have the appropriate gear, the personnel to get our people from all across the country to these events. It's because of you, and it's because of your support. Again, after each event, if you want to know where your money has gone, what every dollar you've donated has gone to, I post financial transparency spreadsheets to the _Praetorian Twitter account, so that you'll see that after, it's usually a few days after each event while we reconcile everything. But I let you know exactly where every dollar that you've given us goes, because I feel that's important. This is a contract between the American people and First Amendment Praetorian to do what needs to be done. And right now, what needs to be done is protection of the Republic and Americans who want to do what Americans are supposed to be allowed to do. So until next time, I want to say thank you very much, again, to all of you who have supported us. Deo et Patria, for God and country. I'll see you on the next one.